starting. It's Monday, May 20th, 2020. All these 20s. It's Take a Break with Drake. We're coming live from the studio in Washington State. And, wow, Drake, you really know how to play an air fiddle.
Air fiddle, that's good. Air fiddle. Yeah, my teachers.
That was a very soft intro, by the way.
My teachers knew very much that I knew the air fiddle. So I've got an opening. It always starts with the cello. So maybe we could call this show "Cello Again, Cello." No. Like Bill Murray said, those who like Neil Diamond and those who don't. Those are the two groups of people in the world. Yes, welcome.
You're funny.
I don't know how to step over this issue. I just got to mention it. Ravi Zacharias has passed from us 24 hours ago. A brilliant, beyond brilliant Christian apologist, a student from Cambridge University. He was at Deerfield, Illinois. He was a minister, a teacher at Alliance Theological in Nyack, New York. I went there. I studied under Ravi in other settings. His last year, he ended in June 85, and I started fall 85. So I never studied there under him, but I studied under him many other places. Heard him on the radio, see him on YouTube, and I went through a few of his YouTubes last night. And millions of people watch this guy, learn from this guy. The size of what he started and the amount of apologists. It means people that answer and defend for the faith. And I loved his phrase. He says, "I want thinkers to believe and believers to think." His show, "Let My People Think." What a thinker.
He was a thinker.
He was. Oh, he got invited to all the huge, prestigious, hostile to Christianity settings year after year after year. They wanted him back, and they tried to people would try to excoriate him in his lectures, and he would just so lovingly,
Frank,
gently.
that is such a big word.
Draw them. Excoriate. EXCORIATE. Look it up.
Hey, Eric Dean.
But Eric.
Howdy.
Eric the Amazing. I just love Ravi. I paused and had a heavy sigh. I called one of my peers, classmates from seminary, who traveled with Ravi, and we both went together to Europe at one. And Ravi was speaking at this massive event with Billy Graham and Franklin and a bunch of other people.
So you're 2 degrees from Ravi.
Oh no, I had one-on-ones with Ravi.
Oh,
not
okay.
just one. Yeah. He at one time he dropped everything and just counseled me for almost an hour, and his secretary guarded the door and the phone so we could finish talking. He was urging me to go to Cambridge. I thought, oh boy, me at Cambridge? I barely got out of high school. Yeah, I became a student at 19, but the first 18 so years of my life, I was a student of spontaneity.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Does that line make sense? A student of spontaneity.
Yes, you were like a spunky monkey.
Yep, I wanted to go
around.
swimming. I went swimming. I wanted a trampoline. I wanted to go play through the creek in the forest, and I did. And I
just saw a note that Peter McKenzie is watching. So, Peter, if you're still watching, hi.
Peter, you're the best. Saint Peter.
Director.
Saint Peter. Yeah. Hey.
And Elisa or Alyssa, I'm not sure. You should tell me how to say your name properly. From Battleground. Woohoo!
Yeah, Battleground. Oh my goodness, Battleground. Great town. We got to come see you soon. We're not far away.
If we're allowed.
Yeah. Loud onto the Battleground.
Yeah.
We talk about the Christ stream. We always read about Christ the 6th day of the week. We spend a little more than a quarter of the first half of the year. We read on the 6th day of the year, January 6th, 13, 20, 27. We read in Matthew, and we keep reading in Matthew till into April on the 6th day of every week. Read Mark, I think about, I don't know the bookmarks on me. Read Mark
Oh,
about,
well, I can get you a
about
bookmark.
9 or 10
Let me
weeks.
just run it right over.
Read Luke for about 16 weeks.
Oh, let me see here.
And then we read John from...
Mark starts in April.
Yeah.
Luke starts in June.
Yeah, we start reading Luke in
16th.
June, middle of June, and then read it until October, September.
Exactly. You got
Into
it.
October.
And then,
And then the
that's when
last
we
weeks
start
of the year.
John-
And then
John
on-
October 6th.
Yeah, and then on December 30th, we read John
That's why I love this Bible reading
20
plan, because
and 21.
you get into the Christ stream the whole year long.
Yeah.
The Gospels are spread out over a year. I love that.
Yeah, so are you here? Oh, you're down here.
Yeah.
Hello, dear. Hello, dear.
Yeah, you've got me in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, here by the palm trees. So just more on the Christ stream, because when I did the Christ stream just last Thursday,
You had to go so fast.
I covered a third of the overview that I wanted to. So I'm going to do today and tomorrow a little more in the Christ stream. And then on Friday we'll talk about what happened to the 12 disciples.
Hang on just a second. I'm just showing everybody. This is my bishop,
Yep.
Paul Kreitz. Oh, hey, Gregory Lee Davis. Hello, good to see you. Do you see the bishop here?
Yep.
Bishop Kreitz loves tea. I'm cutting right into Drake, but
Yes, she
let me
is.
get back to him. But I'm just going to enjoy this tea. Thank you.
Yeah, my wife walked into my life at some point and said, "May I cut in?" And we got married.
Back to the
But
Christ stream.
talk about things. Matthew writes to the Jews locally. Mark writes to the Jews scattered throughout the Roman Empire and beyond. Luke writes to the Greek world, the Greek mind, the Greek speaker, who also the Romans spoke Greek at that time. They were learning Latin was going to morph and take over lately. And then John writes to the whole world. In the beginning was the Word. No, that was... but he saved the whole world. Jim Hendrix, good to see you, big guy. My goodness. And this isn't the guitar player, Jimi Hendrix. It's another Jim Hendrix. Yeah, and we pray for Jim. Great man. John the Baptist, all four Gospels mention John the Baptist. No matter what their agenda was, they realized that we need to give the forerunner some ink time here. And John the Baptist baptizing Jesus, that's in all four. And they want to, God is ordaining and blessing this guy. This Jesus just doesn't, pop out of a cave and kaboom, he's here. And Mark and John especially need to say that, because they don't talk about his childhood. You come into those two books and he's an adult. He's 30, he's starting in ministry. The fishing, calling all the disciples, that's in all four Gospels. The whole world understood fish. The world back then was all around the Mediterranean Sea. If the gospel gestated in the heart of Africa, I'm sure there'd be more about sand and deserts or something like that. But everybody fishes. Everybody understands fish. Most people like, and a lot of people live on fish. So, hey, the guys that follow him are fishermen. And the world's like, hey, cool. I like fish. So all four nail that. The anointing of Jesus' feet. That's in all four Gospels. Not one of them takes that story. They all include that. And when Jesus says to those people that were arguing with him, he says, "Me and the devil, you say we're in league with each other?" It's amazing. If you want to say someone's evil today, oh, he's a Nazi. He's a Nazi. Everybody's calling everybody else a Nazi. Which is German for National Socialist. But to put somebody down, back then, oh, you and the devil are friends. And they said that about Jesus. Really? Devil and I are friends? All four Gospels include that. They all declare that Christ is the Holy One, that the Holy Spirit's going to come and help. All four Gospels say that, they include the story of Jesus feeding the 5,000. Two of them include that and the 4,000 feeding later, but all four include the feeding of the 5,000, because that is something that has just haunted humanity. Are we going to run out of food? I talked about my sixth grade bishop who had 3 kids when I was in sixth grade. After college, I came back. He had 12 kids. And about 10 years ago, I asked how many grandkids. He has 70-something grandkids now. Obsessed. Do we have enough food? Do we have enough food? We got to have enough food. Jesus feeds multitudes. He always has. The leaders convening how to kill Jesus. All 4. Just a couple more of these. The triumphal entry. Praying in Gethsemane, though John doesn't name the garden. Why do the writers to the Jews, especially Matthew and Mark, why do they mention Gethsemane? Because the Jews would read that and go, oh, he was in that garden. Where John is writing to the entire world, and his gospel goes clear up to the North Sea, clear out to the Caspian Sea. And you mention Gethsemane, and they would go, it's a distraction to mention it. It's a clarifier for Matthew and Mark to mention it. So these evangelists, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, are brilliant. The arresting of Jesus and cutting off of the ear, all 4 of them have that. All 4 have Peter's denial. All 4 have the issue coming up of, shall we crucify Barabbas or shall we crucify Jesus? And Barabbas is let go. All 4 have that. The exchange. And we're supposed to put it together in time that we are Barabbas. Bar, son of, Abbas, the father. Son of the Father. We are a son of the Father. And we're let go as Jesus pays punishment for something he didn't do. He's paying ours. And I want to go off on another story there, but there's other things I want to keep moving with that. Maybe I can get to it tomorrow. But I've been studying the Bible hardcore since the 1970s. I saw something. I saw something that I've never seen before this week. And I'm thinking, how have I not seen this before now? You know when you find something in your shop, in your kitchen, on your tabletop, in your bedroom, and you think, how did I not see this? God, you look for something and there it is. It was right under a sock. It fell under the laundry. I saw something. The calming of the storm, where Jesus is in the boat and they're in a storm. And when you're in a storm, you're getting soaked. You can't sleep while you're getting sprayed with water. This is how tired Jesus is, because they just pull on him and pull on him and pull on him. There's places and incidences where he heals 10, 20, 25,000 people. He's tired. Long hours, and he gets up early to pray with the Father. The calming of the storm is in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. It's not in John. The walking on the water is in Matthew, Mark, and John. It's not in Luke. You catch that? Calming of the storm, where Jesus stands up and says, hey, that's it. And he uses a verb, I read it in the Greek, and he uses a verb that a parent uses to talk to a child. The parent made that child. Jesus made those clouds, and he uses the same type of verb. Says, hey, be quiet. It's like when you hear parents say, hey, inside voice, inside voice. Well, he tells the clouds, hey, outside voice. Okay, I'm sorry.
Outside voice.
He talks to the clouds, and the sea is perfectly calm, the sky is perfectly calm, and the disciples say, who is this? Who is this? The clouds obey him. Matthew, Mark, and Luke.
And then there was the next day or the next week when they forgot everything.
Oh yeah, the disciples kept forgetting, and we keep learning and reading and forgetting, and read it again, learn it again, forget it again. But Luke puts that in there. Who do the Greeks that Luke is writing to, who do they revere? They think Zeus is awesome, and Jupiter is awesome, and Poseidon is awesome, and Olympus is awesome. And Zeus controls the sky and the thunder. And when Alexander the Great was born, the greatest thunder and lightning storm of all time hit. Wow, signs in the sky. This is your man. Well, Jesus calms the storm. Luke tells the entire Greek-speaking world, and the Greek-speaking world think, Zeus isn't the issue. This guy is. This guy's the issue. This guy has more power than Zeus. Luke includes that.
And he has more power than the X-Men.
Oh, yeah, he does. He has, yeah, because whatever the X-Men is, I don't get these fantastic movies.
Because everybody wants to... I mean, you read these stories in the Bible, and everybody wants more.
Yeah.
This is pretty exciting stuff.
The founder of Marvel Comics, Stan Lee, he wrote all these Marvel stories because he wanted us to look at Christ and Marvel. The strength, the speed, the power, the immensity of their presence, their power to devastate evil. And Stan Lee just died. And anyhow, back on track. So when Jesus walks on the water, Luke doesn't include that. Because he's writing to the Greek-speaking world. You say to them, hey, he calms the storms, he calms the wind. Like, wow, this guy is greater than Alexander. He's stronger than Zeus. In fact, I don't even think Zeus is even real. Gets the point made. Walking on the water, Matthew, Mark, and John. Luke doesn't have it, but John includes the walking on the water. He wants the whole world to know. This guy is phenomenal. But the Greek-speaking world, part of the world, might go, walks on water? Yeah, that's a little bit out there. So Luke just doesn't put it in, but he has him calming the storm. I never saw that before yesterday. That's just amazing to me. Want to, by the way, Matthew, Mark, and Luke all talk about the end times, but Matthew goes on and on about the end times, the eschatology, the eschaton, what's happening in the end. If you want to understand the end times, you need to read Matthew, the later chapters, Ezekiel, Daniel, and Revelation. In order: Daniel, Ezekiel, Matthew, Revelation. But Matthew is very protracted in his explanations of the end times. Mark and Luke mention it. John doesn't have it in there. And the bulk of what I want to go over today is what Luke features, and anyhow, Luke's my favorite.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know you had a favorite gospel.
By the way, my master's thesis is on Luke. And I took a class called Luke. And the first week, our assignment was to read Luke every day for a week straight. And what comes to you? What gets louder and louder the more you read it? And the things that get louder and louder the more you read it is, hey, what's up there is going to be down here. The great kings are going to get humbled. The poor are going to get exalted. The powerful will be made weak. The weak will be made strong. What's up? It's the upside down kingdom, because everybody's talking about the strata and the power grids of the world. And Luke says, hey, I want you to know something about that. God's got a different power grid, and we better get on his. You try to be powerful here, it's not what you want a gun for. And, the issue of power, it's mentioned repeatedly in Luke, where you don't see that in the other Gospels. The 10 lepers that get healed. And 1 out of 10 comes back to be thankful. And, people do studies today. And this is very intriguing to me. Someone did a study on those that are dying. And the the deals they want. God, if you this, God, if you that, God, if you that. And they find out that only 1 in 10 who make a pact with God while they're dying and then get saved. God, if you'll save me, I'm going to go back to that mini mart and return everything I've stolen. God, if you'll save me, I'm going to be sure and be grateful to my relatives finally. God, if you'll save me, 1 out of 10 keep their commitment. That's just a recent study here. Jesus mentions the 10 lepers, and how many of the 10 go back and say thank you to Jesus? The other 9 go, hey, whoop-de-doo, whoever that was, I'm fine. Off they went, ungrateful. And this gets confirmed in life. 90% of the people can be ungrateful. And don't do that. The rich man and Lazarus. Only Luke tells that story. The 10 lepers, only Luke tells that story. The rich man and Lazarus. Lazarus is sick and has sores, and it's not a pretty life or a pretty sight that he has. And then there's the rich man up here, and he's, Lazarus, you mangy pile of human debris on the sidewalk. Well, they cross to the other side, and Lazarus exalted, and the rich man just wants a sip of water as he's in a very hot place. Oh man, we had Saint Michael. Had Saint Michael join us. Good to see you. My favorite CHP.
That's not fair to have a favorite.
Oh, sure.
Oh, maybe it is.
I've actually called him and asked him to pull me over, and he's done it.
I think you called one of them and asked them to pull me over.
Why not?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, okay. The issue of being humble at a banquet. Don't seek the top seat. Just take the seat and then let the host, the steward, call you up to a higher seat. So you're like, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I was on a movie set in Europe, and I talked to the executive. He said, oh, yeah, we need to put you in the scene. Okay, so I go to the movie set, and there's like 60 people. Oh, no, pick me. And, well, the director on the film set had a card with my name on it. So go out to the gang and pick this guy. He got told that by the boss, because I knew the boss. So he sticks his head out this door, looks at this massive crowd. We're in Holland, and he goes, Drake, where's Drake? Drake, come on. So this crowd just gives birth to me walking out of the crowd. And I look around all these 60 guys and go, hey, take care. I got chosen. I got exalted. It was kind of heady, you know? It was kind of cool. But what you don't want to do is push your way onto something and have the director go, get out of here. Yeah, talk about walking away like a little kicked dog with your tail down. Be humble at a banquet. Let yourself be exalted. Don't exalt yourself. Luke is very big into this. The warnings against Herod and Jesus before Herod. When Herod says, oh, I wanted to see some sign. I've longed to see you for the longest time. Would you do a miracle for me? Herod was a schlock.
Ooh,
Look that up in the Yiddish dictionary. Herod was a schlock. Only Luke talks about this. Matthew, Mark, and John, they're all thinking, yeah, tell me about it. I don't even want to mention that.
It would probably be good one day for you to kind of break down all the Herods.
Yeah, I'll do a show on
so many Herods.
Oh yeah, the Herods, and I've seen all of Herod's constructions, and I did a paper on the family tree of Herod. It's rather a wretched bunch, so we'll do that. We'll do that next week about the Herods, because when you read the Herods, they're all different guys.
Yeah,
you read the Herods throughout the Bible. Warnings against Herod, Jesus before Herod, and so Herod says, oh, would you do a miracle for me? Now, when Jesus is in front of the Pharisees, the Sanhedrin, the scribes, and all the people, they're playing these little tricks so that their income goes up, and they don't care who suffers because of them. Jesus engages with them, and he tells them where to park their horse, shall we say. Herod calls him forth and asks for something, talks to him, and Jesus just doesn't say a word. When God won't talk to you, that's scary stuff. Doesn't say a word to Herod. He warns people about Herod. Luke does. About the unjust judge. You just keep filing motions. Nope, nope, nope. I'm going to bang on this judge's door until he gives me what I want. About asking a friend late at night. You're knocking on his door at 2 in the morning.
My goodness.
4
I'm
in the
so
morning.
sorry,
Hey,
honey.
and the guy goes, what is it? He says, listen, I've had guests come late. I ran out of food. Can I borrow a few loaves of bread? Of course. Well, they just came now. I don't mean to.
Whatever it takes to make you go away.
If you got to knock on a door late at night, if you got to motion again and again to the God will answer. Keep asking. Ask and ask and ask till you get what you want. And you may realize that you didn't want what you thought you wanted. At some point you realize, hey, I just wanted Jesus. Because if I've got Jesus, I've got everything. So, but you don't find out until you keep asking. The story of Mary and Martha. Did you know that was only in Luke? Scuttle, 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 get the food ready. Jesus didn't want to eat. He wanted to share. And so you have Mary sitting at Jesus' feet. Then, the philosophy, he's writing this to the Greek world. The philosophers at the Acropolis, and the Acropolis is something else, man. The temples, and this is where the thinking of the world took place. They discussed everything regarding the world. It was here. And it was always guys, because women had to get the dinner ready, and it took a long time. It wasn't quick. It was so ladies had no time to go up to the Acropolis. Jesus is talking to Mary, sitting at the feet of the wise one. And ladies are invited to come learn too. Luke says that. Only Luke says that. The story of the lost coin, the lost sheep, the lost son. Jesus didn't tell those stories at the same time, but Luke takes them and compresses them all together in Luke 15 to tell people, I'm telling you, this Jesus is looking for you. We're lost. You're lost. The Greek world was so lost. And people, I can't come to God. I'm too dirty. I've talked to people on their dying bed, and I said, man, if you just lay it all before Christ, oh, no, I'm too dirty. No, I can't come. I'm too dirty. That's like telling a child, here, get in the tub. Oh, I can't get in the tub. I'm too dirty. I don't want to shower. I'm too dirty. Oh, no, if I shampooed, all the dirt would come out. I can't let the drain find out that I've got dirt in my... Listen to yourself. Luke 15 presses the point. You're lost, just come home. Oh my goodness, it is just about time.
Wow, are you? How many are there, Drake?
Oh, there's.
I bet you there's a good sizable list.
Oh, this is gonna. I'm gonna continue
you're
this.
Blocking the screen.
I'm gonna continue this on Tuesday next week.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
I want to end with something that I learned from Ravi Zacharias.
I thought I was going to share about 153. I guess I'll do that
we were going to open
day.
with that. We were going to open
Yeah,
with
we were
that.
gonna
I
open
got a
with
little
that.
rushed this morning. Duties took us a little late
That's
last night, so we
okay.
got rushed this morning. But
It'll wait till tomorrow.
the
but,
153 sheep, we're going to open with that. The 153 sheep. 153 fish. You don't catch sheep in the net. I guess you could, but...
Yeah.
We're going to open with 153, the fish and the large fish. But I want to end with this, a story I got from Ravi. Watch Ravi on YouTube. And man, it's better than a college course, and somebody else is paying the bill. He talks about Malcolm Muggeridge, who wrote for Punch magazine, and he spent his career bashing Christianity in the British Empire. Snarky, smack-mouthed guy. Late in life, he finds Christ and he says, wow, 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 wow. And you don't realize how powerful and how huge Malcolm Muggeridge is in the British Empire. The British controlled a little over a quarter of the entire world for a time there. It's why English is the lingua franca throughout the world. You want to just talk to just about anybody in the world, they know English. But Malcolm Muggeridge, after he discovered Christ, he says, the compendium and the rundown, the summary of my life, I just want to say this. I know what wealth and power and status is. I know. He says, there's not a thing on this earth that I want, that I just can't buy it like that. He says, that's wealth, and I've got it. Fame. I can go anywhere in the British Empire. It's you! Anywhere. All throughout Britain and all the colonies, and I forget how many colonies there were, but he could go anywhere in the British Empire, anywhere in the world. Wow, it's you! He says, that's fame. He says, and on every day of the week, my stuff is quoted and used in books, in articles, in arguments and debates. My stuff is used and quoted all over the world every day. That is power. I've got wealth, I've got fame, I've got power. But I'm running out of time here, and I'm telling you something. I have found Christ, and you could take all the wealth, all the fame, all the power, and in all the world, and times all of it by 1,000,000. And that wouldn't even equal what it is to have just one drop of Christ in your life. And I beg you to believe me. When he talks like that, you better listen. When Solomon, who had 1,000 women, says, you better do the monogamous thing, you better believe him, because he knows. Malcolm Muggeridge knows, and he knows how empty all this is and how full and rich all this is in Christ. Make sure you have Christ. Make sure he has you. Proceed in your day with all confidence and boldness that God is watching over you, guiding every step, and you will not fall to the ground. You will not be taken out by this virus. You will not be bankrupted. You will not go hungry. You will not be lost in the cold. God is watching you. Sparrows fall to the earth, and he knows. Not one sparrow falls to the earth without him knowing. Every hair on your head is numbered. He knows. He knows you, and he's watching over you, and he's guiding you all the way home. And like a rope tow, all you got to do is hang on. Bless you this day. Have a good one in Jesus.